Alright, I've got another teaser of something I've been working on for a while. So, leveraging the new interactive capabilities, which essentially lets you almost build a game-like experience into a style. I've actually got a new style capability I'm calling Kyber Select. So, this is different than color change, this is different than color editing. Um, this actually creates an interactive state when you first turn on your saber, when you first go into the preset, where you can actually choose from a list of colors. Right now the library will handle up to 6 colors. So you pick your 6 colors that you want your saber to be, but before you ignite your blade, you can actually go through all of them and select as if you were picking a Kyber Crystal. So the idea behind it is like in the video games, you know, like Fallen Order when you're at the workbench and you change your crystal to change the saber color, or in all the different Jedi Academy and Jedi training type video games where you're building your saber and picking the crystal color. And then also even, you know, the Galaxy's Edge experience where you pick that crystal. So this style is set up. Now there's a few different ways you can set this up in the library. So this one's set up to have a companion crystal chamber set up. And what happens is I've turned my saber on, but I haven't ignited yet. Now the way this works is it's an interactive state before the first ignition on that preset. Once you've done the first ignition, that color is going to be locked in. So right now, you should be able to see the crystal. If I turn my hilt, I've got 6 different colors set up. So I've got green, orange, cyan, I think that's indigo, a yellow, and then purple, or no, that was back to indigo, and then blue. And it's based on just turning the hilt. Now this is different than color change, this is different than color editing. It loops itself back around based on the orientation of the blade. But using this companion style, I can see what color my blade's going to be ahead of time. So I've done it on the Fallen Order, so if I want to set my saber to be a specific color, before I first ignite it, I can rotate to that color. So maybe we'll do the purple. So now when I first ignite this blade, you're going to see it's going to be a purple blade, and it's going to stay purple. Oops, I'm moving too much, let me ignite. So now I've got a purple blade. Now, when I turn my hilt, nothing's going to happen. Now when I turn the saber off, it's going to stay purple. And that purple is now locked in. And that's locked in for as long as this preset is active, which means if you change presets, it lets you go back into the Kyber Select mode, or if you obviously cut power and reboot the saber. So when you first turn the saber on or first go into the preset, you're able to choose the color for the entire time you're using it. And then if you want to get out of that color, you're going to go back in and either turn the saber off and turn it back on, or you can just do it by changing presets and going back. So if I change preset, this one doesn't have Kyber Select, but if I go back by pointing down, now you'll see that Kyber Select capability, and this one's using the crystal as the selection. I have another one I'm going to show in a second. But so now I can go in and let's do a green this time. And this is the exact same preset, and the color gets locked in after ignition. So once you've ignited, you've locked in green. It's going to stay green with the Kyber Crystal, and it's going to stay green the entire time this preset is active. So now there's a couple other options. I'm going to change sabers here. So now for, say you don't have a crystal chamber. Let's see. Oops, I already locked you in. Let me change your preset. Alright, so that one had already locked in. So now this one's using what I'm calling an Emitter Flare. The first time, again, I go into this preset, it's going to have this Emitter Flare, which is going to allow me to see the colors. Now this one I set up a little different. I've got a silver, magenta, green, blue, red. But so now I can, using this Emitter Flare, pick which color I want it to be. So we'll do silver, and then again, the first time I ignite, it's going to lock in. And now the Emitter Flare will go away. So when I retract, now that color's locked in, there's no more Emitter Flare. And it's going to stay that way until I change presets. So if I change the preset, this one doesn't have it, but if I go back, you'll see now I've got that Kyber Select capability again. And you can go and choose a different color if you want. So let's go green. And now that color is going to be locked in for the use of that preset. And then finally, I have a hidden capability, which means that the color selection's still based on the turning of the hilt, but it's not going to give you any indication ahead of time. And you would do this by having a single blade with the hidden, or just not setting up your crystal chamber to let you do the color select. So I'll go to that preset. So now this preset I already know isn't selected because I just went to it. So just based on the position of the hilt, it's going to pick the color for me. So this one's kind of fun actually. It's not randomly picking, but it feels like it is. And you can tell friends and family it's based on their connection to the Force, which would be the same as when a Padawan chooses their crystal, or like we see in the 9th Jedi even, the Visions episode, or just other experiences with Jedi choosing their saber, or Sith if you build red in. And you can hand it to your friend or family and tell them, hey, ignite the blade and see what your color is. And they're not going to know ahead of time. You're not going to know ahead of time unless you study the exact position of the hilt. So now I've got a purple blade this time I ignited. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change presets and go back. Let me go back to that preset. So again, I'm going to change the hilt around. This is going to be based on where the twist angle, but because there's no visual cue, you're not going to know what you're going to get. So if we ignite this time, we got a green saber. And you can build, 2 to 6 colors in. And again, it's not truly random, but it is hidden selection. So it just gives you kind of a new fun way to play with your saber, where that color is going to be selected when you first ignite. And again, because of the way it's interactive only before the first ignition, that every time I reignite, unless I change that preset, or unless I go back and reboot the saber, that color gets locked in for the entire use. So just kind of a fun application of the interactive capabilities to give you a little bit more immersion into the sabers. Like I said, if you want to even just have some fun with friends and family, like let's change that preset one more time. And I forget what position I was holding, but we'll try another position. So now I've got a Sith Red Saber. And again, it's the exact same preset. And the preset itself is selecting the color just before you ignite. And it's doing it based on the twist angle, so how that rotation of that hilt happens. But then once you do the first ignition, that color is locked in for that entire duration. So there's really, we've always said unlimited with Proffie, but the new interactive functions, and the way we can build almost mini video game programs into each style just is going to open the door to so many unique and crazy and fun capabilities. But this is one I've been playing with for a while. It is coming to the library with the next update, which should be really soon. But I wanted to share this one. I know it's been a tease. I'm getting close to having the library ready with these updates. And there's so many new interactive stuff I'm working on that I'll probably be, I'll put some out first, and then over time that'll grow. Plus, as people start to learn how these functions work and kind of think out. Now, the interactive capabilities being video game-like, you actually plan out your style ahead of time for what you want to accomplish, and you build that into the style code, and that's what creates the game-like interaction. And it is based on style code. It's not a change to the OS. It's not a change to your prop file. All of it's contained within the style code itself, which means you can add or change your presets just by going in with the new style code. You can also change how the functions work with each other. But these are a lot more complex than the past styles. So for those of you who are a little bit new, if you try to decipher what's going on in the style code, it might be a little crazy at first, but over time, as people get exposed to the new functions and understand how they interact with each other, really what we're doing is we're taking a lot of responsive capabilities, a lot of effect capabilities, and several other functions, and we're mixing and matching them to create these new interactions within the style code. So lots more to come, lots more to obviously explain, but I think this one's pretty cool, especially those of you who have small kids. If they want to be able to play around with colors without going into menus or color change mode or whatever, you can hand them the saber. If you have it set up for the emitter preview or for the crystal chamber preview, you'll be able to then let them pick their color just by turning the hilt before they ignite. And once they ignite that saber, that's their color. So keep an eye out. As soon as that library is updated, I will let you know. Hope you enjoy.